Hey guys, here's Louis. Today's video is really focusing on the 67 GTO 400, numbers matching, original paint still on this car. Beautiful car. I'm gonna be replacing the entire trunk floor pan on this car. There goes your gas tank brace. These braces here on the side gets welded into your inner wheelhouse, then gets welded to the trunk floor. This is 3 pieces here, 3 different panels for the trunk floor that needs to get welded all together to make one. This car, the 67 GOAT over here, somebody, I don't know who, some Picasso tried to repair it, and what he did is he just put a brand new sheet metal on top of the old original sheet metal to cover the holes that are there. Terrible. I mean, honestly, always try to do it your best. This is not the best way of doing it. Now guys like me have to deal with this mess and get it right. So I'm gonna be cutting this out, this floor. Today I will be cutting it out. My tools of choice will be a plasma cutter, a cutoff wheel. So far that's what I'm gonna use to cut this out. I already saw I have to make a inner wheelhouse repair here to have metal to weld to, because she's pretty chewed up there. And then this trunk drop off here, I have to also repair that panel. My plans is to cut the floor out, butt weld that side, make it look like it never's been tampered with, then bring it up to here, and the new panels has a lip that goes all the way up to here. I don't want to do that. I want to cut it right here and weld it right here. Alright guys, once again, as I go on, I will be recording the GTO project also, because it's information that needs to be out there helping other guys. Plus it's a Pontiac, how can I say no? Alright guys, so here is the progress that we did today. So far we cut out some holes here, some sections, little by little. I still have over here to cut, the middle and the passenger side over here, little by little. The smartest thing to do is cut nice and slow, take your time, cut once. Now you make a mistake, now you have to add metal, because I don't like that kind of job. The choice of cutting today was the plasma cutter, a nice toy that my buddy Dan has. It might get donated to me. So once I finish that, I'm gonna throw the middle floor pan in. Here's the gas tank brace. I could measure everything and get it spot on from factory. I like things to fit like factory did it, or else it looks like a crappy job and I don't like it. So far so good for the first day. It's about 93 degrees out here on the 1967 GTO. Before I start to say what's going to be the plan on cutting the rest of the metal out of the trunk floor, I want to say that my buddy that this car belongs to, he actually have the paperwork on the bill sheet of this car, and it's really cool to have a 67 GTO numbers matching car. It's a 400 car, an automatic car, console car, floor shifter car with the hearse, his and hers shifter. Okay, so that being said, is an original 68 GTO matching numbers. Guys, whoever is interested in the car, leave me a comment down below and I will tell you how you could contact me, or you guys want to put a comment also about what you think this car will be worth as of now, because of course if I keep restoring this car, the price is gonna go up. I just wanted to see what you guys, your thoughts on the car. Anyway, that being said, let's get to work. So somebody did a very poorly patch job on this car. They put brand new patch panels on top of the old floor, and what happens when you do that kind of work? Rust comes back to bite you in the butt. Yep. All right, and that's not the way Louis does repairs. Okay, I like to repair these cars the right way, and the only way in my eyes is the right way. So my plans is to cut a line over here. Okay, I already put some dots there with a painter marker. Okay, paint marker. And for these GTOs, this being a 67, it has a bracket right here. All right, that down there you see red is a bushing. Okay, it's also one over here with a bushing. So I'm gonna cut around all these panels here on the floor. I'm gonna be cutting that out, leaving the brace on, these brakes that come here, leaving it on the car for now until I get to that time to cutting them out. Now here underneath this floor right here is the original gas tank straps. They will go there on the brace for the gas tank. Okay, and I'm gonna try to I ain't gonna try, I am going to put the whole thing back to where it belongs. So I also marked it here. Okay, and I'm going to mark it on top. All right, I'm going to drill out two little I'm gonna drill out two holes. It's like a guide to me, and it's so small that I just be able to weld it right up. Okay, because plug welds are gonna be there to hold it up, hold it on the car. So that's my plan. So I have to cut a line over here, cut around the braces. I also going to measure where those braces are located in the inner wheel well, because that's where they get welded to. They get welded into the inner wheelhouse on this car. All right, and also the floor gets welded on top right here, going across. It gets plug weld to the trunk drop off. Now the trunk drop off of this car, they're not in terrible shape. This one needs a patch panel, and this one needs a little patch in the corner. Okay, well, all that said and done, I'm going to get to work. All right, guys, so I was just inside the GTO trunk getting all my measurements. All right, it's much bigger than a first gen Firebird, which is what I am used to restoring. Like I said before, this is my first goat that I am restoring. I am used to restoring birds. A lot of information I'm going to share with you guys, the tools that I use, okay? And the way I do it, okay? The way Louis does it, the way I get it done. In the YouTube world, getting these cars as a project, it might give them some time to go out there and get the tools that they're going to need if they want to use the same tools that I am going to be using, and it'll take steps, because I believe little steps is the key to having good work done to your car, to your project, and also being smart, guys. Sometimes I look at the project and I don't even lay a finger on it. I might spend a whole hour just looking where I'm going to measure, where I'm going to cut. What I'm trying to get to is that the way I think when I look at things is I like to plan not one step ahead, at least 5 steps ahead. You always have to be about that many steps ahead to know your every move that you're going to take on a project. Okay, so I will be showing you guys what I am mapping out here on my moves on the GTO trunk floor repair. All right, guys, now we are here inside the GTO trunk. Here are my legs. I'm actually sitting down here, and I'm going to be sharing with you guys the tools that I like to use on these projects. Okay, so I have here regular Rust-Oleum paint, all right, with a foam brush. That's how I mark my lines. I'm going to show you exactly why are those measurements, in other words, are there. Okay, also back here, the other one on the passenger side. So these lines here, these white lines here, is to let me know that the corner of the gas tank brace should land right here. Okay, should land right there. That's what that paint lets me know when that day comes that I'm going to be welding them. All right, also on this side, also on this side. Now, as for over here, it's marked for the brace that this GTO gets here on the trunk floor. Okay, this of course is going to be at the bottom. This brace is going to be on the bottom, and over here on this cage nut, a bolt will go through a body bushing, and there you go. She gets nice and snugged and tight, and you have your brace there. Okay, so that's my measurement. Also, this hole is another measurement that I'm going to use this way, back and front. And I will not weld nothing until I am satisfied with my measurements. Okay, also for the GTO, that's the way she is on this side also. Okay, so this is the passenger side. Everybody knows that the passenger side on a car is your right hand side. Driver is the left, of course. See, I could feel this hole. I could feel it right here. She's right there. Okay, and this is a guide point also. These two white lines are a guide point for me where this brace should be at. Okay, also body bushing right here, and she's straight dead on right there. Okay, now with that being said, let's go through the tools that Louis uses real quick. Okay, I'm sorry it's a little dark on the video, So that drill has a 5/16 bit. You could go a little bigger, not too big, to mark your locations, where you're going to plug weld. All right. Which, as for me, it will be right here. I know there I'm going to start my plug weld on this gas tank brace. Okay. So I always like to get my measurements. I just drill a little hole. So there's one here, one here. That's on this side. On the other side of this. But anyway, it's corner to corner. And there's a guide point for me. Okay. It's just a guide point for me to let me know that that's where I am going to weld. All right. Another guide point here I did is right here and right here. Everything else, these yellow ones, is because little by little I'll be cutting from here up and I'll sneak to this point. It's better to cut little by little than cut right away too much, and now you have a headache of replacing metal that you should not have cut. So I know I scribed a line here. You guys can see it. It's a line here. I'm going to sneak little by little till I get to this point. Okay, to take out the bad metal out of this trunk. Okay. Now, if we see and take a look at this gas tank brace, so on the rear of the car, the tail panel side, which is this way, this actually gets welded underneath, and this flange right here that's bended lies down on a brace, a very thick metal brace that comes under here. As I'm going to cut away in the future videos, that brace behind this floor will be exposed and you guys will take a look at it. Okay. But if you guys see how good is that measurement, okay, so I know I have to go from corner to corner, and she's right there where I need her to be. All right, and that's the way I like to do things. Measure, 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 and you'll be doing smart cuts instead of the crazy wrong cuts. Now I'm going to share with the tools. So again, this is a Rust-Oleum paint I have here with a foam brush, a pick to scribe the metal, okay, a paint marker, do my dots always with the paint markers, okay. This being black, a black marker is not working out for me, but that's how I started, with a black marker. If I had a gray marker, it would have worked much better. All right, a measuring tape, of course, a ruler. All right, nice size ruler. All those tools are very important to have for this kind of work. And over here I have an air drill with a wire wheel on the end of it. Okay, and the reason I like to use this is because it exposed the spot welds where they at. I know I have spot welds here where the floor gets plug welded to the trunk drop off. So I will clean that up and the spot welds will be exposed. Okay, it's a couple of ways how I get rid of spot welds. I either use my cutoff wheel, okay, and let's say this hole here is a spot weld, and I just go back and forth a couple of times. Take your time until that spot weld gives up and I'll break loose. Now you could go underneath and separate the metal with a panel separator. Never own one, because I usually do it with an air hammer or a thick scraper that I have laying around. Is a very thick old school scraper, and I hit it with a hammer and it separates the panel once the plug weld are broken loose. Okay, so basically that's the tools that I plan to use to clean this metal up, cut the metal away, and of course the electrical. Can't forget this baby here. This is Body's girlfriend right here. A grinder, of course, electrical grinder, and I'm going to be using that, guys. Like I said, this is a big project because it's a big car, okay, and you have a whole lot of welding to do. You have this brace, the other side brace, the gas tank brace also to be welded, in 3 sections of the floor. And believe me, the floor is huge. I will take measurements and I will share with you guys. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a short video, but it's a pretty good video. The next video will be cutting, measuring the new metal coming in, and from there forward, tack welding things in until we get to that day that shall be done. Hey guys, here's Louis, and this is part 2 of the trunk floor repair for the 1967 GTO. So I'm going to share with you guys the tools that I am using for the removal of the rusty floor on the GOAT, on the 1967 GTO. So I have here an air hammer, okay, with a flat chisel on the end. I like to use this to, like, let's say if that's a spot weld right here, right? They usually round. You could go under the metal. There's 2 panels plugged weld. You could go under the metal and zap it out. It works great. I love it, and that's what I use it for. They also have another tip here you could put in that helps you cut metal. All right, I use a pick, a pointy pick, to scratch the metal, make a line. Maybe I need to cut it there. And of course, measuring tape, very important. And this scraper is not your normal scraper. This is a pretty beefy scraper. I have it for years. It happens to be a Craftsman. And this, I like to put it underneath the panel and hammer it with this rubber hammer here. So also the spot welds will just separate, and there you will remove the panel. Makes your life a little easier. So it's like a panel separator, which they do sell the correct tool. I ain't the correct tool as a panel separator, but it has served me for some years now. Rubber hammer. I'm gonna show you guys something. This rubber hammer was a regular normal rubber hammer. I bought it really cheap, and with this heat gun, this torch gun over here, I basically just go around like this while she's on, okay, go all over the hammer, and I get a bucket and I quench it in cold water. And what that does is it makes the rubber hammer get more tough. It's not that soft no more. And I happen to use this to knock out dents on cars. Also to hit this scraper as I am separating the panels. It works excellent. Tape. Tape is a great measuring tool. Believe me, it's your friend. Then I also use this grinder here. It's an air grinder. This is a 3-inch wheel, okay, cut-off wheel. And also if there's a spot weld or plug weld, okay, I like to turn it on and just go back and forth. Take your time, go back and forth. And this will cut through a spot weld or a plug weld. And there you're able to free the metal you want to get out. Also, of course, it's designed to cut. When I'm also welding on the panels and I have to grind some of the welds off, I use this back and forth. It works excellent. Thick leather gloves, always try to protect your hands. This face shield is a 3M face shield. Okay, they're very cheap on eBay and they will protect your eyes. Okay, if you enjoy having good eyes, I suggest you protect your eyes, and not just your eyes, your face, because these tools are dangerous. I mean, anything could go on. Anything could get loose or break or shatter, and there goes your face and your eyes. So it's very important. I suggest if you guys are going to get into this hobby, you have one of these. This is a Harbor's Freight body saw. Okay, I love this machine right here. All right, they make the air one that you could use with an air tank compressor, or you have the electrical one. I happen to have both, and believe it or not, I usually go to the electric one. Now, this is the trick for making this body saw work so good. And being a Harbor's Freight tool, it doesn't cost so much. You won't be breaking the bank, and I am telling you, take my word for it, it's good. These are the blades that I use for it. If you use the cheap ones, you ain't gonna be a happy camper. But if you use these are a little bit more expensive, and also sold at Harbor's Freight, is great. I love it. This happens to be another Harbor's Freight grinder here. Okay, very cheap. I think I even got this on sale for like $14 or $10. The reason I like these cheap ones are because they are smaller than your normal ones. I happen to have about 5 or 6 grinders. This one and also the regular standard ones, but I'm really not a tall guy. I'm only 5'5" in height. My hands ain't huge. And I just like the grip because she has a smaller body. I could grip this one much better. Okay, makes my life easier to grip it and have control, have some control of this grinder. And please, I cannot focus, I cannot stress on this topic. Please, when you're using a grinder, use it with the shroud. Use it with the shroud. In my very beginning in getting into this hobby some years ago, I happened to be cutting a panel and it hit some kind of, I don't know if it was a bolt or something, but it hit the wheel, and this thing shattered. And thanks God I had the shroud, because the pieces didn't come at me. All right, so it's very important to have that shroud. I never take it off. And the Sawzall. The Sawzall is your buddy when you're cutting rusty metal. Okay, I happen to have a Diablo blade. Yes, they are kind of pricey, but they cut through butter. They cut like a hot knife through butter, I should say. It makes your life much easier. Sometimes, guys, you are going to have to spend that money and get yourself the tools you need. That's the bottom line. So these are the tools I use usually for body work, like I said, to remove panels, separate panels, cut rusty metal off the cars. Now, I've been moving forward on the car. I was sick a couple of weeks ago when I made the video of saving those other 2 fibers, one a convertible and the other one being a coupe. I was really sick. I had a cold and I wasn't feeling good, so I was not in the garage for like a week and a couple of days. But thanks God Almighty, I am back in the garage and keeping my hands dirty. That's the only way these projects could move forward. So It's really important, like I always say, measure, look at your projects, look where you're going to cut. What if I cut here, if I cut over here, what's under here and stuff like that. You have to think to yourself, even before you cut, way before you cut, you have to think, you have to plan. If you don't plan ahead, you could run into trouble and give yourself headaches and more work. So I started cutting the real nasty rusty metal. This happens to be in really good shape here. Okay, if I have to go more up, I will. If I don't, I'll start from here. But over here goes the gas tank brace. Okay, your gas tank brace. This brace will be getting cut off over here. I will have to go and separate the spot welds, and this will come out. Same thing I did over here, I have to do over here. Okay, the whole trunk floor, and it gets plug weld on this GTO by the trunk drop off. Okay, so I still have to go through these plug welds up here, and this is what I'm talking about, using that air hammer with the chisel. You sneak under, you go under this panel, and as you zap it, she'll separate. You could also use the cutoff wheel like I showed you, the air grinder with a small 3-inch cutoff wheel, and go on the spot welds and go back and forth, and she'll separate. Okay, now here's the back of the car. Here's where the tail panel is. Here's where the end of the floor of the trunk floor goes on the GTO. As you guys can see, I made a line. Okay, I used my grinder, I cut through it, and you see those spot welds right there? I came underneath with my air hammer and zapped it, and believe me, when I hit it here, they separated. Okay, anything that's left behind, I'll get that 3-inch grinder, go back and forth and smooth it out. If I don't smooth it out like that, I will use a belt sander. I'll share that with you guys another day, another tool that I have, because I haven't taken it out yet. But as you can see, so you're going to be zapping the metal, and that's how the metal ends up rolling. Starts rolling forward as you zap it up with that air hammer. So things are going really nice. You see how they spray some galvanized back in the day. That's why back here it looks so nice. This is a brace for the floor to lay on and have some support, and it gets plug weld here. So all these plug welds, I have to do it once I put the floor, the new floor, back in. Now, when you're doing your project, think, like I always say, plan ahead. And I like to focus on the little things that are period correct. I just think it's cool, and I think that it makes the car just look more original. So right here, I wrote down sender wire for gas gauge, which is this one, this brown one right here. This one gets hooked up to your sending unit for your fuel, and behind this metal here, there's a bracket. So I'm going to cut this, and I know when I have to weld that bracket back, exactly where it's supposed to go. I love to keep the original things of the car, like brackets and stuff like that, that belongs there. I like for them to be back where they belong. I just think it's cool. All right, and it's the way you do the proper job. Okay, now remember something. When I take away all this metal, when I start cutting away the rest of the metal that's left, which is not really much now, okay, that's gonna be my chance to clean the frame, our wire wheel, the frame, okay, and I will paint the frame. I'll give it the protection of paint. Okay, my favorite paint, believe it or not, my go-to paint is Rust-Oleum Satin Black. I shared with you guys on a previous video. It happens to be that it's kind of hard to get Rust-Oleum Satin Black now in a gallon. So I mixed two paints to make it satin black, and they both happen to be oil-based paint. If you guys need me to share that again with you guys, just put it down on the comments and I will. All right, so I will clean everything, make sure everything is painted and protected from the weather. And hopefully these things like this will not happen again to this car. All right, just makes the car look so much better when you're looking from underneath the car, and it protects your car. Now, for you guys that do not understand this kind of work or never even thought about it, there is a lot of how can I say this in a nice way, not so honest body shops out there, and they don't have no conscience to take your money. All right, and sometimes even rob the person bankrupt on their project that they cannot afford it no more, and they happen to keep the car, or they pull the car away from the body shop because it costs a lot of money. That's why it's important to try your best and learning about all this kind of work, because it's not cheap. Now, there are people out there that are honest, okay, and will give you a sensible price. Now, with that being said, remember something that somebody is seeing that have experience, like a person like myself. I have a better understanding of what I'm seeing, what I'm gonna run into, okay, and about how much hours. I could just guess that. You cannot really give a hard, concrete answer to the customer and tell them, well, this is going to take me 10 hours. This is going to take me 20, 50 hours, whatever. Because the more you cut usually on old cars away, the more issues you run into. Okay, so the owner of the car, of course, you open the hood. You open the trunk, and you saw this floor rotting away. Okay, no problem. Now I'm cutting this off. I'm starting to cut the bad metal off, and look what I see. The inner wheelhouse all rotten over here. While out the inner wheelhouse, you cannot weld this brace, okay? This bracket here. You have to have some good structure metal coming all the way down to here to be able to weld. This is the brace, the brand new brace, okay? This is just surface rust. This is nothing. This gets plug weld. This curve right here gets plug weld into the inner wheelhouse. This lip you see going, that curves. It curves because it gets plug weld to that metal. And if there ain't no good metal there, what you gonna plug weld it to? Nothing. Zero, nada. Okay, so those are the things you have to look. That is a much bigger job than just cutting the floor out and welding the floor. It doesn't work that way. I'm sorry, I wish, but it don't. So before I do anything, I have to make a patch panel going around this wheelhouse here, this inner wheelhouse. Then the trunk drop off is rotted over here, like from over here to over here, which that's about at least, I would say, 8 to 10 inches, okay? I have to make a patch panel here. This side ain't that bad. This side is the corner here, okay? But not me, not this guy, not Louis. I will never put a car together and leave things like that, okay? Because that's not a good job. That's a hack job. And I'm not known to do hack jobs. I either do it the right way or I don't do it at all, period. All right, so this is the floor of the GTO. It's a huge trunk floor, very big trunk floor, okay? And it takes 3 panels like this one. This one's gonna go on the driver's side, then this one that goes in the middle, and the other one on the passenger side. All right, so guys, I just wanted to share with you guys the progress of the GTO trunk floor and the things you guys got to look out for when you're doing your project. All right, so whatever I did here, I have to do the same over here. And hopefully next time I will show you guys that I am moving right along on this project. Thank you for your new subscribers. For you guys out there, I'm almost hitting 450 subscribers. So I'm almost right there for hitting the 500 subscribers, which to me is very special to me. I never thought in my imagination that I will be even close to that. That's cool. That's excellent. But the most important thing to me that started me doing YouTube is to inspire you people out there that are not scared to keep your hands dirty and that want to see your cars get restored again and put back on the road again, save money, get some knowledge in your head, and keep you in the garage busy. Once you guys see your project, even these little baby steps moving forward, it's just going to drive you to keep going, and getting it done. All right? I believe anybody is capable of doing this. You just have to be willing to do it. If you're not willing or you're afraid, you lost. You lost the battle right there. Game over. Don't even bother going to the garage because you lost. Mentally, you lost. Finish. But if you go with a positive attitude into the garage and keep saying and repeating to yourself, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to get it done, it will get done. Believe me, I've been there, done that to a couple of cars already. All right. And I know you guys could do it too. So thank you. I hope my YouTube channel keep growing. That will be excellent. But what will make me more happy more than anything is to hear feedback from you guys that are getting inspired from me putting this content out there. So I remove the rest of the floor with the side brace on the car. All right, and did some cleanup where the plug wells was welded at. This car, so far, the issues that I'm facing here is that the trunk drop off is rotted from there to the front, from there to the back. It's not in bad shape. I am going to be cutting that off and making my own panel and burning that in. And lucky enough for the passenger side, the trunk drop off is not in bad shape. Now, for the inner wheelhouse on both sides, the passenger side and the driver's side, they pretty much gone at the bottom. And that's what you need to be strong, healthy metal there to be able to weld your floor. It has a bend, like a flange going down like this. And that's where you plug weld to the inner wheelhouse on the 67 GTO. Okay, then my plan is right here in the rear, I'm gonna be butt welding the rear of the floor going to the rear tail panel. Right here, there's a brace where the floor gets plug weld, and also the gas tank brace gets welded to. I have all that marked in place, all cleaned up already. The last thing to do is spray it with some weld through primer before I start welding that. I still need to clean the rear of the chassis here. Okay, I'm going to use a wire wheel, clean that up, use some rust converter, and then paint it. Okay, for everything to look nice and clean. That's how I like to do my work. So the GTO, it's up, off the floor on jack stands, right? And here's the inner wheelhouse. I mean, whoever had this car before and tried to repair it, maybe they didn't have the experience, or maybe they was just lazy. They overlapped a piece of metal here and just literally just used a couple of tacks. They didn't even weld it straight through, and use like a silicone corking kind of material just to like glue it on, and she's all rusted out again. So I'm going to be cutting this and repairing this with 18 gauge sheet metal. The passenger side looks pretty much the same like over here. But yeah, this is what I'm facing here with a GTO so far. The reason I removed, if you guys could see, you can see inside the car now, I removed the back seat because I have to go through that hole. I have to go inside the car, put half of my body out that hole to weld that side of the floor. Okay, I'll keep you guys posted on the 67 GTO. All right, guys, so how I explained in the beginning of the video, the inner wheel well of this car was rotting out, and whoever had the car before just threw sheet metal on top of that, or the original sheet metal that was rusted. They just threw it on and tack welded. So I cut all that stuff off and I fabricated my own inner wheel well, because without that you cannot weld the floor. You need that structure there to be there to plug weld the edge of the floor to it. Okay, and I also fabricated from 18 gauge sheet metal a trunk drop off. Okay, now don't forget that when you have to fabricate your own parts, it takes way more time. It takes time. You have to even think about how you're going to approach the thing. I always do cardboard templates first, and then I transfer that idea to metal, and then I start the process of making the part. But when you're gonna do some fabrication, always remember it's gonna take you longer, more time. I love the way everything's coming out. I just grinded my welds. I have a nice flush panel there. I still have to grind the welds of the trunk drop off, which I still need to measure. As you guys can see, a little gap there for it could fit more flush, and I'll be ready to weld it on the car permanent. I even did a drain plug hole there, if you guys could see that. So the same procedure, the same thing I did here to the driver's side rear, I have to do to the passenger side rear. I won't be filming that part unless you guys want me to, but I'm not gonna film it. I don't think I should be filming it because it's basically the same job that I did here, I have to do there. Okay, with the exception of this truck drop off is not in bad shape. I just have to fix right there, that little corner. I'm just gonna patch that up and that's it. All right, and then after I do that part, I will be rust treating the rear frame, okay, and priming it after that, and then painting it satin black, because I mean, you're not going to get another opportunity to get the top of the frame. This is the time to do it. I hope you guys are enjoying the videos. It's like I said before, this is going to be step by step how to approach it, how to tackle the job on the 1967 GTO trunk floor. So as you can see, the inner wheelhouse that I fabricated for the car that was practically missing on the car is all welded. It's grind down the welds. I also fabricated a trunk drop off half of it. So from the beginning over there to about half, nice, solid, painted. The frame is painted on this side also. I still need to do the driver's side, and I will show you the driver's side, how I repaired it and everything, and how I'm going to fit the brace for the tank. All right, guys, I've been here very busy with the 1967 GTO, so I was able to fix the driver's side, fabricate a lower piece for the inner wheelhouse, also cut half of the trunk drop off, so basically half from here to the front, and fabricated a new one. Okay, I painted black already. I also added the drain hole. Everything is sealed, ready to go. I was able to paint also the rear frame. On this side, still needs to do the passenger side. But the passenger side, I also finished fabricating the inner wheelhouse on this side, welded, grind down my welds, and I had to fabricate a lower corner there and also drill the drain hole on that side. I don't know why, but GTO, I found it that they made the drain hole a little bit more higher up than usual, so I just went with the same style. I did not want to change anything on the car, but I'm happy how everything's coming out. It's time to clean this side and have this side painted. I also cleaned all my spot welds, where I'm going to be doing new spot welds on the car. And the next thing I'll be installing is that gas tank brace you see there. Without that, you cannot mount your gas tank, and then the floor gets plug weld to that. So that's next, and that's why it was so important to mark my original measurements, where the original was, the locations. That's why you have to stand back, take a look at your project, plan ahead, take your time planning, do not rush. It goes on the same concept when they say measure twice and cut once, was the same idea. Think about it. Don't think about your first, your second, or your third move. Think about basically from, like, let's say 1 through 5 moves and how you're going to approach it, and you should do fine. Okay, so I'm going to get the gas tank welded to the car next, and hopefully have this side painted. And from there, I will move to this gas tank strap on another day, and from there on, fit on the floor, and time to get her welded in. But so far, so good. Okay, guys, so I am here in the trunk of the GTO, 67 GTO, and just for now, I put some self-tapper screws to hold the gas tank brace, because just measuring everything, if I need to move something, I just take back off the self-tapper and I'm able to move anything, and the hole that is there, if it got to get welded, I just weld it shut. But I love the way everything is fitting here. This corner is still not 100%. I have enough material to cut. Then I'll be flush, and this will move more to this side and looking more like this, because you need to drill out holes going down here to plug weld to the gas tank brace. So far, so good. Okay, I also welded the brace. I had a clamp holding the floor to the inner tub. Everything is fitting nice and flush. So I plug weld that brace already. She's solid, she ain't going nowhere. All right, and the method that I use to do these plug welds comes from my buddy over there at Vinyl Village Garage, Jonathan. The style that he uses is the one that I use. I learned that style from him. It works excellent. Okay, you basically put a self-tapping screw like that. Then you get a 1/4 inch drill bit, and if it's 2 layers of metal, you drill slowly, taking your time, until you just hit that second layer. So it kind of gives it like a comb shape, if you kind of understand What I mean, if you don't, I could break it down in another video for you guys and make a video on it. He also has a video on it. When you drill it with, when you drill out that hole with a 1/4 inch drill bit. So as the drill's coming down, it makes it a little bit like a comb style. All right, and you have enough space there for that wire as you're doing the plug weld to fill in that comb. And let me tell you something, these plug welds are so strong. Okay, look, I basically got to do very little buffing on these. All right, they come out so strong that if you get a air hammer with a chisel, they're not gonna pop off just like the original will. They're going to hold there strong. So far so good on the GTO. And this is why it's important to plan out your moves on your project before even touching anything, cutting anything. Do a lot of measuring, marking your metal where the original stuff was. For when you're going to put the new stuff, it should fall right in place where the original brackets was on this car. Anything, panels, whatever, you have to measure, you have to mark it. Take a whole lot of measurements, think about it before you make that next move. If you guys could see the leveler here, okay, I don't know how she's coming out with that glare, really. Let's see. But the bubble is on the middle over here, okay, and wherever I put the leveler, is the bubble stays in the middle. You guys could probably see it there because the glare is not really there. So I know 100% when I put the floor on this car, it's going to be straight and level, all right? Because here goes the car, and I made sure the car was nice and level, and she's going to stay nice and level until I'm finished this project, for the trunk floor to stay nice and level once it gets welded all in. So guys, so far so good on the GTO project. This is another video. I'll keep you guys tuned. I'm going to be cleaning this out next, painting everything here, and from there basically get to welding. So on this video, I'm going to show you the work that you get when you are a dedicated person to your project. The work you could accomplish in just a little time. Like I always say, an hour a day is better than nothing. I always dedicate to a project an hour, the most 2 hours a day. All right. The longest hours I have spent on this GTO since I've been working on it is 5 hours straight one day and 4 hours another day. Anything else than that been 1 hour, 2 hours, 1 hour, 2 hours. And you guys will see soon of the progress that I have done on the trunk. It's a totally different car than when she came to my house. And I also going to share at the end of the video what's coming up next on the 68 Firebird. I miss working on this car. I need to go out of here so I could work back on the bird. So stay tuned. Okay guys, so here I have the left side of the trunk, which remember on a vehicle, your left side is always the driver's side. So this is the left side floor pan for the 1967 GTO that I have over here. I am fitting the floor brace. Okay, so this is a reinforcement floor brace that goes facing underneath the car, so it's going to be facing the ground. And there's a cage nut here that has a little movement, gets bolted down to the frame, and a bushing in between here. So when they sell you the 3-piece floor repair sheet metal for the GTOs, and I believe Chevelle's is also the same. They are going to come with 3 pieces of sheet metal. They also sell you a full floor, but to install the full floor, your car got to be pretty much apart, or at least I know your tail panel got to be off the car. And this one, the tail panel is not off the car, so my friend decided to buy the 3-piece. It will come with 3 pieces, so it's a 3-piece floor with 2 reinforcement brace, okay? One for the left side, which just happens to be the left, and one for the right side. And these things are aftermarket. They never are 100% perfect. So you're going to have little gaps, and you don't want no gaps. You want it to be as flush and tight to the floor as possible, okay? Have to be nice and tight to this panel. So I just took a hammer. I have a hammer. My hammer's over there. I just took a hammer and I beat it where I had to hit it to fit nice and tight. She's fitting nice and tight now. Okay. I am ready to use my self-tappers. These are the self-tappers that I use. Okay. That's the size. Do yourself a favor if you plan to use this method. Okay, I love it. I told you guys many times before, I learned this method from my Firebird brother, Jonathan, at Vinyl Village Garage. It works beautiful. Practice is the key. Remember, practice makes you perfect at it. All right, so once you master using these self-tappers to do your plug welds, I mean, it makes your life so much easier. And I'm going to tell you why. Because like myself in the garage, I don't have nobody to be holding these panels for me, okay? And if you don't have too many vice grips or different selection of vice grips, because they have real long ones, real wide ones, I mean, it becomes costly. And if you're not doing these projects a lot, they're just going to be sitting around your garage doing nothing. Now, if you're constantly working on metal, go ahead and buy them. Why not? But if you don't have them, or you don't have many, you just have some, these are going to hold the panel for you in place. Okay? So it's like the extra helping hands that you guys don't have. And that's why I love to use it. And I find it to be great. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to be marking it. Okay, you could put it about 1.5 inches away from each other. That should be more than enough. Okay, and I'll bring you guys back once it's done. And there goes the brace plugged weld to this floor pan. Here goes the other side. Very proud how everything's coming out. It's looking good. Clean up my welds, and that's it. Ready to go on the car. All right, guys. So now I'm here at the trunk of the GTO, 67 GTO that is. And I just finished spraying some cold galvanized weld-through primer on the gas tank brace. And also on the floor pan where I'm going to be welding. Another reminder and another tip is to mark where your plug welds have to go. So I marked my original ones. You can see that line straight down. So I just know I'm going straight down. Make my hole to the sheet metal. I'm going to be using self-tappers, putting them right where the original GM did it, and plug welding the floor to the trunk pan. I will be just tacking in this side for now. I measured everything. I pre-measure everything, so I know everything is gonna fit good on this side, which is the passenger side. Then I will do the driver side and then the middle. I would just tack weld this side, then I move to this side. Okay, when I finish tacking weld everything, then I will take the measurements for the middle floor and cut where I have to cut it, lay it out. Then my plans is to remove it and finish welding the trunk pan completely each side, then start on the middle. Stay tuned, guys, because this is going to be excellent. I can't wait to finish this car because I need to start moving back on the Firebird. I need to get this car painted by at least the end of May or maybe the first week of June. So I'll bring you guys back when I have this side of the floor pan tack welded. Well, guys, take a look here. The car actually has a trunk floor now. It will almost be 100% full floor. As of now, she has a driver's side and a passenger side. The floor pans are completely welded all around where she needs to be welded. So up there and down here by the tail panel, she's totally welded. I just have to grind my welds down, okay? And I use self-tappers like I explained before in other videos, okay? Going straight across to the brace, the gas tank brace. And I already have started plug welding this side. When I finish this side, I will go to this side, or I might just jump around. The last piece to this puzzle here is this floor pan right here. That's a centerpiece right there, which I still need to cut, measure and cut on the bottom. That's the bottom side. And the front side over here, I should say the back side, and that's the front side. And then I will take that, put it here, and she gets plugged weld on this side of the gas tank brace, also on this side, and then spot weld right across, and also on the back side. But this is what I am talking about when you are dedicated and you could see the car coming back to life, because unfortunately they do not build themselves. You don't buy them rusty or rusted out or not driving, and one day you come down to your garage and she's ready to go restore it all by herself. That's only in dreams and make-believe land. You have to dedicate hard work to your car, especially if you don't have the money to go to the fancy shops and get somebody else to restore the car for you. You need to keep your hands dirty, like I always say, and you will see your car move forward. So the technique that I used here, like I said, self-tappers, okay? And if you guys could see, there goes my plug welds, and they very low. I mean, I have very little grinding, if any, on them. I love the way they come out. And I have said this before, I learned this technique watching Jonathan from Vinyl Village Garage. That guy is like, he's like my brother. He's my Firebird brother. Thank you very much, Jonathan, because since I learned that technique, I have been using it. I think I mastered it, and I love it. I used the same thing when I was welding the Firebird over here. The whole floor, the rear frame rails, I used the same technique. He made a video on it, and he gave me an A+. Mind you, I was using flux core on that car. I use flux core all the time. This is actually welded, the GTO, I actually welded with gas, and it's 10 times easier for me because I started with flux core. And believe me, when you start with flux core wire, it's really hard. You get frustrated, but I also believe that what made me a good welder, starting with flux core. I have done gas before, but this is the biggest project I have stuck to gas. And from this day forward, I'm going to stick with gas because it's just totally different. I think anybody could weld with gas. But that being said, so that's the technique I use. This going around here is the bottom brace on the floor on this GTO, 67 GTO. It takes the reinforcement brace there, and this a bushing on the underside. Right there, there's a bolt that goes through, and there's a bushing right there, and then she gets plug welded into the inner wheel well. I also have the self tappers going down the trunk drop off. I love the way it's coming out. This car actually did not have a trunk drop off on this side because it was rotted out, and you guys saw me fabricate that side, fabricate the inner tub, that side inner tub, and the bottom of this trunk drop off. All right, so I'm really happy. Like I said, the more and more you guys do this, the better you get. Don't have no fear, just do it. Just jump in and do it, and I'll get done. I am so happy. It's just moving forward, and I give myself a pat in the back because let me tell you something. If there's anybody that knows me, that really knows me, they know I'm a very dedicated person. Okay. I have a regular 9 to 5. When I come home and I have to take care of my kids, well, that day I won't touch the car. But the day the missus is home and she could take over the kids for a little bit while I played cars down in the garage for a little bit, this is what I accomplished here, right here. Okay. I'm even thinking about these projects the last thing before I go to sleep. That's the way my brain works. And to see this is like seeing a dream come true. This is another slash on my belt saying that I did a 67 GTO trunk. And like I said before, I'm not a professional, but I think I do good work. And she's solid. She's coming out nice. I will be grinding down my wells. I will be priming this, okay? And if the man that owns the car, my buddy Dan, if he decides that he wants to splatter paint, fine, it gets done. If not, I think just regular black paint for now is okay. And the next person that buys the car, they could finish it. But yeah, guys, here's the GTO. Thank you for you guys that are new subscribers. I'm almost hitting that 500 mark. And I'm really pleased to share my knowledge with you guys. So here's the trunk, almost done. I'll say about 90% done now. So this is part 5, I believe, of the GTO trunk being restored. All the plug wells are done, okay? So she is plugged weld to the trunk drop off, the gas tank brace, also the brace that's behind here by the tail panel, and on this side also the driver's side, and that's your bottom brace, which bolts down to the frame, as I said before. So this is the last piece of the puzzle, which I'll be working on today, and I bring back you guys when I am done welding it to the car. All right, guys, so I'm here to tell you this is pretty much the second to last video of this 1967 Pontiac GTO 400 car. And yes, that's a numbers matching 400. Second to last video. The next video I will post will be this car driving out of my garage, and God Almighty only knows how bad I want that to happen, cause I really need to get back to my bird. But I did a whole lot of work to this car, unbelievable. Even with the little free time that I have, you guys gotta remember, I have a small baby. He just turned 4 months and some weeks. I have a full-time job, okay? And he ain't my only kid. I have 4 kids. And I'm really busy. I only could dedicate to this project of the GTO. Really, when I have free time, I will come to the garage and work on her. If I wasn't that busy like before, I used to have a little bit more free time, I would have finished this car at least a month ago. But with that being said, I always love to work on classic cars, so it was fun. It was a first go for me. The wiring harness here, I literally went through the whole wiring harness on the engine side. It's funny how you always find these classic cars that people way back when tamper so much with the wiring and just hacked it. Did some crazy stuff that could even have caused fires. Okay. And thanks God I went through it. She's nice and safe. I ordered a brand new battery cable. This is 2 gauge, and this is true 2 gauge. All right. I get them specially made from me. This gentleman that I know, I give him the measurements I need and he'll make it for me. All my Firebirds have them specially custom made to my liking. So yeah, I went through the wiring harness. As you can see, those 2 wires going down that tube that shields it from the heat. That's your starter wire and your charging wire on these cars, and that's brand new. And guys, please, when you are going through your wiring harness, do not mess around. That could burn your project down to the ground, and there goes your time and money down the drain. Respect the wiring harness. If you're not that knowledgeable in doing it, buy brand new ones or have somebody with the knowledge to have it. Make sure they are fused right. Make sure that you're using the proper gauge to hold that amperage. It's a lot to do with that, and I do apologize. I was going to go through the wiring harness and make a video, but I'm so busy and I have such little time, like I said, that making videos is not easy. It's not easy at all. It's a lot of editing and recording. You're by yourself. I don't have somebody to hold the camera for me. It's always just by myself here in the garage. So I find it to be sometimes overwhelming, but I try to do the best in sharing my knowledge that I have on building these cars. If you guys do need me to go through a Firebird wiring harness, let me know, because when I built my 69 Firebird, which I'm going to make it to a Trans Am, I'm going to be going through the wiring harness. And then there, if there's enough comments, I will go and make a video on it. All right, so she got the master cylinder, like I said earlier. She's going to have power brakes now. She has the power brakes on, but it'll be functioning. I'm going to do the whole complete exhaust from the manifolds all the way to the back. I'm going to do brake lines, fuel lines from the front to the back. All right, I'm up to that already. See, over here is where I was rebuilding that wiring harness. So she is getting really close to be a driver. Extremely close to being a driver. And if you guys follow the videos, I restored this whole trunk. And I am happily to say that I just need to wipe this down and shoot it with at least 2 coats of primer. That self-etching primer you see there. But I will shoot it 2 to 3 coats of primer, let that dry, and then shoot it black. My buddy that has this car belongs to him. He actually wants everything black over here. He doesn't want the splatter paint. Because guys, remember, he is going to sell the car. The car is not going to stay with him. We will let the next owner paint it with the splatter paint if that's what they choose to do. But I'm really proud of myself, and I could say that I have another stripe on my belt saying that I restored from scratch a 1967 GTO trunk. And let me tell you something, guys. This is so much welding on this trunk that I was probably working on a first gen Firebird. I probably could have done the two quarter panels. Cause you know that's how huge this trunk is. I will with all the time I have dedicated here, I probably could have done 2/4 panels. But I'm really happy. The car is super clean, top to bottom. Focus on that picture that I will be putting in the beginning of the video. How clean this car is at the bottom also. And that's the trunk floor. I'm gonna paint whatever frame is underneath the car. That will go black. The trunk floor on the bottom, I will also paint black. Okay, and I need to get that done before the exhaust comes in. But yeah, guys, here you go with a little, not a little, you know, a lot of dedication. But like I always say, 1 hour to 2 hours a day, whatever you have, this is the outcome that you get. These are the results you get. And let me tell you something, when you're up to this stage, you feel really proud of yourself. Bye-bye now.